Hey, everybody. Thank you for stopping by Small Family Adventures Bible Devotions channel. This is a special 4-part series on God's gracious gifts. As I record this is Christmas time. And so I thought we'd look at the gifts that was given to us because Christ came, he was born, he died, he rose again, and he lives now forever. He is king. And so the first part was how perfect love casts out fear, how we don't have to live in fear. The second part is how we are adopted as sons and daughters into God's family. He won't cast us out. Um, Part 3 is today's, and that is about forgiveness and how we can have forgiveness. And let's look at that. It's in Matthew 18, verse 21. Then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, I do not say to you 7 times, but 7 times, 70 times 7. Basically, as many times as you need to. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king. Excuse me. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his servants. When he began to settle, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. And since he could not pay, his master ordered him to be sold with his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made. So the servant fell on his knees, imploring him, Have patience with me, and I will pay you everything. And out of pity for him, the master of that servant released him and forgave him the debt. But when that same servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii. And seizing him, he began to choke him, saying, Pay what you owe. So his fellow servant fell down and pleaded with him, Have patience with me, and I will pay you. He refused and went and put him in prison until he should pay the debt. When his fellow servants saw what had taken place, they were greatly distressed, and they went and reported to their master all that had taken place. Then his master summoned him and said to him, You wicked servant, I forgave you all the debt because you pleaded with me. And should not you have mercy on your fellow servant, as I have had mercy on you? And in anger his master delivered him to the jailers until he paid all his debt. So also my heavenly Father will do to every one of you if you do not forgive your brother from your heart. So, what does this all say? This is saying that just as God has forgiven us, we are to forgive others. We are to forgive our brothers. Who's our brothers? Who's our sisters? This is anybody who's human, anybody who's around us. And we have that ability. I know of a person, hey, this was 20, 30 years ago, and her husband was killed overseas on a ship. And it was one religious group attacking. And instead of holding anger in her heart, she had the ability, because of Christ, because of knowing how much Christ has forgiven her, she was able to show love to that people group. And she went there as a missionary to reach out to them, to love on them, to bring Christ to them. We are to do the same thing. We can't hold grudges. We have no right. God does not hold a grudge against us. And so that is our takeaway. God has forgiven us. That's forgiveness. And so we too can forgive others. If we try in our own way, it's hard. If we try and remember and that God has forgiven us and live and walk in the Spirit, we will not carry out the desire of the flesh, which is to have revenge. In this case, paybacks, tit for tat. But we're going to show forgiveness just as God did. So that's the takeaway for today. Part 3. It's not as flowery as last time, but it is still highly important for us as we live, as we love, as we grow, to bring these things, to give grace, just as grace has been shown to us. This is Stephen from Small Family Adventures. I hope you have a great day. Next week, we'll have part 4 and the final part, and it's the most important part. It brings everything together that we talked about. Okay? From my family to yours, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.